Graph the parabola. Give the vertex, axis, domain, and range. Our parabola is f of x is equal to 1/2 x squared minus 2. Let's look at this leading coefficient first. Notice that it is positive. It's also a number whose absolute value is less than 1. Because it's a positive number, this parabola is going to open upward. Because it's a fraction whose absolute value is less than 1, it's going to be wider than our basic y equal x squared graph. There's no right or left horizontal shift, but this minus 2 indicates that our basic y equal x squared function is going to get shifted down 2 units. And by that I'm talking about the vertex. So instead of the vertex being at the origin, it's going to be right down here at this point on the y-axis, 0, -2. So let's make a note of that right now. The vertex, 0, -2. If we find, say, another reference point on this graph, if x is positive 2, 2 squared is 4, half of 4 is 2, minus 2 is 0. This just gives us another reference point on this parabola so we can see how wide it is. Let's go ahead and draw our parabola, noticing that it is symmetrical. It's going to look the same on the left and the right of this center line, which we call the axis of the parabola. And the equation of this axis is x equals 0. As last thing, we want to mention our domain and range for this parabola. The domain is all of the x values from -infinity to positive infinity. While the range has a restriction, it's not going to go below -2, but it does include that -2 and every y value larger. So our range is -2 inclusive to positive infinity. So we've graphed our function f of x equal 1/2 x squared minus 2. Vertex at 0, -2, axis x equals 0, domain -infinity to positive infinity, range -2 included to infinity.